Episode 64. We're going to eat our vegetables today. Boomer Guitar Sessions. I am Rod. The message is loud and clear. Eat your vegetables. Okay, so now, you remember when you were a kid and your mother said to eat your vegetables, it'll make you big and strong. Okay? Drink the water. Drink more water. Less soda. If you're an adult, less alcohol. On the short term, it's less fun. Used to drink a lot of soda. Fair amount of alcohol too, but that's another story. So, used to drink a lot of soda. And what I found out, ridiculously late in life, is that my mother was right. My mother was right. I should have done the thing that gives me long-term satisfaction, long-term happiness, long-term strength and growth and prosperity and creative potential and all that kind of stuff. Because if you're an adult and you're drinking, if you don't get control over that stuff, it's going to take over. If it's out of hand, it may not be out of hand, but often it is. If you're a kid, you shouldn't be drinking anyway. Because you just shouldn't. Okay? And anyway, the soda, your teeth rot out. You get fake energy, sugar energy. It's not where your energy should be coming from. It's not good for you in the long run. It's good for you in the short run. Makes you feel good at the time, but later on, you realize it's hollow and it's not really helping you out. So now what we're gonna talk about today is what are the broccoli and the pizza versions of guitar playing. So one of my students in a recent talk I had with him, do you practice your scales? And he kind of gave me this kind of response that I don't really, not as much as I should, and I don't really like practicing scales, and and it's kind of like he was treating it like it were vegetables. Like, I'm sure maybe he knows that it's important, all right? But here's the thing, guitar players. If you aspire to be like the Jimmy Pages, the Jeff Becks, the Eddie Van Halens, the whoever shiny dweedly guitar player, that Jimi Hendrix is, all that kind of stuff. If you aspire for any of that, it's not going to come. That kind of greatness doesn't come through guesswork. We're not guessing. It's like you're not going to guess at the right notes. That's not the way it works. So the reason guitar players learn scales is the reason an athlete eats clean. First off, it'll allow you to play guitar creatively and flowingly, and create flow and a lot of creative ideas consistently. It is the mathematics. Once we understand how the scales work, it is the mathematics behind all the sounds that are on our favorite records. So what I'm thinking is, in the short term, even though it might appear that scales are like broccoli, which I have turned a new leaf in recent months. I like broccoli now. Didn't really give it a shot before because it was always cooked. I don't like cooked broccoli, but I like raw broccoli. So, not that it matters. Back to scales. Scales are not broccoli. If scales are broccoli, you're practicing wrong. So, as always, if your practice routine is boring and it's uninspiring, then you change up your routine. But it shouldn't be. Everything that I do I don't have enough hours in a day to practice because it's fun. I have to stop practicing. All right. So with that said, I'm going to give you a list of 10 kind of things to go by in the spirit of eating your vegetables to get better at this. And then we're going to analyze Angus Young's kind of approach Through, we're going to go through these 10 things through the eyes of Angus Young. So, with that said, my healthy guitar, to put the framework to stay on a healthy guitar track. All right. So number one is make a list of your favorite players. Who do you wish to sound like? Now, if you're younger people, you might not have heard of Steve Marriott. You might not have heard of Humble Pie. You might not have heard of Cream. You might not have heard of a lot of these people. And there might be something about those artists that you don't like. There might be, in other words, have the ability to take what you like from artists and not take what the other stuff you don't. So make it yours. That is where uniqueness comes. So make a list of your favorite artists, and hopefully some of those favorite artists are lead guitar players. All right. So these are the people that we listen to, and this is who we're going to imitate, and this is where we're going to learn our vocabulary from, and this is where we're going to generate excitement from, because these are going to be the sounds we're going to be chasing. Okay. Number two, make a list of your favorite solos. All right. These are be solos that we analyze. We said, what are the things that in these solos that make them what they are? What are the building bricks of these solos? What scales are you using? Is there any music theory involved that we need to know that makes everything easy? All right. Number three is find a mentor, because a mentor can help you with all this. The Guitar Collective is my mentoring system. Online Guitar Academy, kind of like community, and that doesn't have to be me. I would love it for it to be me, but there's lots of great mentors out there. Let's be real. All right, so with that said, guidance from someone who's experienced and who wants to see you grow, because some people don't want to see you grow too much because they're just small people. They don't see your growth as a kind of a threat to their growth, which I don't understand. But anyway, with that said, number four, use YouTube to find backing tracks that sound like the music that you like and that you want to be able to make dweedly dweedly guitar sounds over top of. Okay? Okay, again, when I say this, the goal is to make your practice routine something that is absolutely enjoyable to you. If it is not enjoyable, then you're practicing the wrong stuff. Number five, pick one player to model yourself after. Okay, my one player for today's purposes, for this lesson's purposes, is Angus Young of AC/DC. Okay, so he is going to be, we're talking about how to do a rock guitar solo. That is what how to solo and improvise in the rock idiom. All right. So he's a great one to start with. Okay. Number six is hang out with players that are better than you. Surround yourself with people who also support you and push you to grow and make you see. Don't hang out with people that are on your level. You want to hang out with people. If you want to grow, you gotta hang out with people that are better than you. Otherwise, if they're not as good as you, if you're the best guy in the room, then you're not going to grow. You're not going to grow. All right. Stay around, number seven, stay around people with good energy as well. Get rid of the negativity, get rid of this comparison, get rid of all that kind of stuff that prevents you from growing. Get rid of the self-doubt. If you're hanging out with people that have those qualities, don't, unless that's what you want to be. What kind of player do you want to be? So anyway, with that said, this lesson we're only stealing from one artist, but in life you steal with multiple artists. It's your mixture of all these artists that's going to make you unique. Okay. Number 10 is most importantly, and I keep reiterating this, make sure that you enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying the process, your routine is wrong. All right? So with that said, we're going to talk about Angus Young's soloing approach. Okay? we're going to talk about the importance of learning scales in order to play in the style of Angus Young. So he uses 3 basic kinds of scales. When I say this, the most obvious scale is the most obvious scale everybody learns. The minor pentatonic. Most obvious scale, and that's great, it's great. But it's important. That's where he starts. Okay, so now the other thing about minor pentatonic that you can add 1 note. And that makes it a blues scale. So the blues scale and the minor pentatonic are used, they're interchangeable. We use them interchangeably, if that's a word. They can use, you can switch them up, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, the other thing he does that a lot of people don't realize and they don't know how to get that sound is he also uses over the same kinds of progressions, because he uses a lot of progressions, and I'm not sure he would be able to articulate this, but a lot of his progressions are what we call Mixolydian progressions. And there's a lot of those in rock. So over the Mixolydian kinds of progressions, you can do both major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. The minor pentatonic we learned. The major pentatonic is this. And up an octave, which is equally as important. That is the form 2 minor pentatonic. Which you want to learn it up there, because that's where you get those kinds of sounds. So you have your major pentatonic, your minor pentatonic, and thirdly, what he does a lot of is he combines those 2 scales together. So we're going like. So that is what that is kind of like a combined scale. I've called that the Chuck Berry scale. I've called that the T-Bone Walker scale. Chuck Berry is more common. People know who he is more than they do T-Bone Walker, but listen to both T-Bone Walker and Chuck Berry to get some of these kinds of shapes down, because their vocabulary, the stuff that they played, is absolutely relevant to the whole, even though it's like close, like in the case of T-Bone Walker's, it may be 80 years old. The lines he played that goes back to the 40s. So with that said, okay, all that kind of stuff that is coming from the T-Bone Walker. Later, a generation later is Chuck Berry. Generation later is AC/DC. Generation later is lots of the rock, the old retro rock that is out now is kind of vibing AC/DC. So the Led Zeppelins, the Jimi Hendrixes, all that kind of stuff has its roots with the T-Bone Walker. With that said, find things that inspire you. Find things that inspire you. Find a backing track that's inspiring. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you the sounds that we're talking about here. The sounds that we get to put major pentatonic and minor pentatonic, and when we combine the 2, that's what we're going to work on here. So, all right. here's the big takeaway. When I'm playing these scales, I have to get the scales down first, but when I'm playing these scales and practicing it in real time, I'm not just playing through a scale. If you think scales are boring, that's probably why you think scales are boring, because nobody likes to listen to that. That's not what a solo is. What guys do is they take those notes that are in the scale fingerings and they make melodies out of them. They play phrases and melodies. So if you can steal licks, individual licks, and just twist them around and experiment with them. And it's what we're learning to do is cut the rope. Okay? We're learning to get away from just reading tablature. Okay, we're learning to jam. This is a lost art form in a lot of people. They don't know how to do it because a lot of their heroes may not do it. All right. So with that said, this is going to be like this is your major pentatonic up. You've heard those sounds before, and if I do it, that's the minor version of it. Okay, so next, okay, let me play a little bit of the combining of the scales. As you can see, this is fun. This is fun. I could do this for hours and would love to. I would love to. Anyway, this is Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions, scales, music theory, technique. Each of these, by some people, they see these as like the vegetable of their guitar playing existence. And it's really the thing that's going to push you into the really cool zones. All right. So this is Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions. Check this stuff out. Check the comments for the paper, the lesson involved with this. Tell 50 of your closest friends. Start a band. Book shows. Write songs. Do all kinds of cool stuff with this the guitar. I will see you next time. See ya. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember,